into my story on why I started wearing the hijab. So I've been Muslim for 2 years, but I put on the hijab for the first time last Ramadan, and I did it because whenever I first converted, I didn't really understand that hijab was mandatory. I always had this idea that hijab was a woman's choice, and I was told that hijab was a woman's choice, and it is. But I was under the impression that it was a choice in the sense that it wasn't obligatory, but that it was an optional thing to do, and that you wouldn't face any repercussions if you did do it or if you didn't do it. So I realized that I did have a misunderstanding on the topic at some point. Also, when I became Muslim, I didn't know any women who wore the hijab, so I didn't have anybody to ask questions about their experience with it. But I always thought it was something very beautiful, and I thought it was a courageous thing that women could do as representing their religion every time that they stepped out of the house. As a white person living in the West, I always got tired of having to kind of out myself as a Muslim, because I would always have to explain why I didn't want to do certain things or why I didn't want to go certain places. And now that I look like this, it's obvious, and nobody's going to invite me to go to the bar, for instance. So last Ramadan, I decided that I wanted to wear the scarf for the month, and I put it on just to see what it would feel like to go outside every day wearing it, what it felt like to be out in society, going to the store, doing these kinds of things. If I felt like people would perceive me different, it was just kind of a social experiment. And also I wanted to see how it would affect my iman as well during the month of Ramadan. Also during this time, I went on a trip, and one thing I told myself was that I wanted to wear the scarf while I was flying and going through airport security and going to a different country to see what that was like. And it was an experience, and things did happen because I was wearing the scarf, but that's for another time. But overall, I never had the intention of really becoming a hijabi and wearing it all the time. I just wanted to wear it during this month as an experiment. But alhamdulillah, every single day after Ramadan, I just kept putting it on and on and on. And yeah, I've been wearing it ever since. But also, since I started wearing the scarf, I've grown a lot within that. For instance, I didn't wear the scarf like this when I started, and it's also pushed me to increase my modesty in other types of areas as well, because now when I go outside, I am a physical representation of Islam, and I want to make sure that I don't do anything that would give the religion any kind of bad image at all. And I want people, when they have an interaction with me, that it's always a good interaction, so that they can associate good with a lady in a hijab. Also, another thing was my social media. I did a complete cleanse. I deleted all pictures of myself that I didn't see that was a reflection of what I am trying to represent now and the type of person that I am now. So that was also a part of my hijab journey that wasn't necessarily just putting on a scarf. I have had some interesting experiences though since wearing the scarf. For instance, at airport security, at border control checkpoints, in job interviews, they're not convinced that I'm American. They keep asking, oh, but where are you really from? Or they want to know where my husband is from. The not so nice parts, I have had some instances with people outside. I don't want to say what kinds of people, because I don't want to make any particular group look bad, but it is always one kind of person. One time was just kind of a harassing incident, and another time there was police involved. It is something that now I really think people shouldn't take so lightly if they want to put on the scarf, but of course, I believe for anything that you'll face an issue with, or anything that can be hard for you, I think you'll be rewarded extra for it. That's just the way I've been looking at it. And there have also been some really funny instances, which I think I'll share on here later. For instance, me getting mistaken as a nun, which is fine. I don't mind at all. I just think it's funny as well. But for all the sisters that just put the hijab on, have been wearing it, or thinking about wearing it, just know that I'm with you in this struggle, and I completely understand and can relate to what you're going through. Some days it feels amazing and you feel so pretty in it, and then the next day you feel like an egg, and that's just part of the journey and the struggle. And we just need to keep in mind that we're not doing it for this life, that we're doing it for the next life, and inshallah we'll all be rewarded for it.